In addition to that, you have a little bit also, I feel, of kind of mixing with documentary, a little bit of, TV reality where there's a lot of things going on at the same times, and you always need to be open to grab it and emphasize more on the story by these little moments that are not always expected.
On that note, Joanna, it almost feels, the way the show's filmed, it almost feels like someone watching the show is in the room with them and kind of running around and following them. I know that sounds like common sense, but I wanted to ask you, what do you feel is the visual home base of the show? What is the kind of net perspective you're trying to achieve?
Yes, when the first time I read the scripts, it was so intense and it's continuous, obviously, and there was really this feeling of immersion that was in the script. And I thought it was so important visually to give the same feeling. So the only way to do that was really to get the camera in the middle of everything and following, the characters really close to them so we could experience the same shift as them as an audience. So that was all these elements that were very important. So it's a very immersive style. It's all handheld. We're using different tools that, give us the handheld feelings, but that help us to do specific camera moves that are not always easy to do just handheld. It's really following them and seeing things as they happen in their own perspective.
There's something about the Pitt that, even though it's a single location, it takes place in one hospital, but it's in and out of trauma rooms, in and out of exam rooms. How do you keep the show looking interesting and not just, so flatly single location?
That was a bit of the worry at the beginning to have so many episodes in the same space and with the same characters. And you're right. It's like, how do we keep it interesting? But the really core of the Pitt is, they are getting into different situations and different stories in every single episode, even though it's all continuous. And the shots are really designed around the blocking. So every single blocking in every different scene is actually different. The way they move, the way, they interact with each other, the emotion, point of the scene, what perspective are we following? And so with all these elements that really help us actually to have a different feel to everything. It's in the same visual language and style, but, it never feels like the same camera movement or the same blocking. It's always very different just because the situation is different.
So I feel like you would be the most fun and informative person to watch this show with, to explain to people, how all of it really comes to life. And so we're talking about episode 13 today. And I was hoping we could watch a scene with you and you could walk us through, how you captured it and give us your perspective. Can we do this?
Absolutely. Let's do it.